First of all, thank you for taking the time to watch our videos and participate in our discussion about racial equity. If we are going to succeed in improving academic achievement, and I know that's a priority for everybody watching this video, then we are going to have to learn how to be more effective, how to be more equitable in our discipline policies, our academic policies, our procedures, our practices, our speech, our behaviors, our beliefs. We've got to do better and make all of those things more racially equitable if we are going to help our Black and brown students learn more effectively, improve our academic performance, and improve their lives the way that we want to.
Hi, I'm Kedra Benikin, parent in the Center School District. And the question is, why is improving racial equity important to our district?
The reality is that every single one of us, from pastors to board members to administrators and educators, we all have biases inside of us. And a good bit of our bias is unconscious to us. And some of those biases help propel some people forward while holding other people back. So whatever we can do to unearth the bias that is within our system can only increase student achievement. And when more and more, and when all of the students of Center School District are achieving at their greatest potential, that only increases the goodness that is found within Kansas City. And the students, the next generation in South Kansas City, is our greatest asset.
The goal of achieving racial equity is one that's very personal for me in the Center School District. I was one of 8 Black students who graduated in the class of 1978. I have memories of good friends and a very strong debate program that kept me engaged. But beyond that, my greatest recollection of spending 6 years in the district is that it was a very uncomfortable place where I frequently felt misunderstood and my potential was overlooked. 5 years ago, I reconnected with the district when I received the Distinguished Alumni Award and got involved with the Center Education Foundation. It was obvious that the racial composition of the schools had completely shifted over the past 40 years, but I was disheartened to learn that many of the institutional biases against students of color had never been addressed and were still limiting achievement. There was not only data to prove the point, there was anecdotal experience. Last year, I boarded a flight in Orlando and happened to sit next to a young woman who was a 2014 graduate of Center. We struck up a conversation about the oddity of meeting in Florida as alumni of the same high school in Kansas City. But what was even more surprising was the commonality of our reflection. When I asked what she remembered most about Center, she told me it was one of the most racist schools she had ever attended. I knew then that we still had a lot of work to do, and I started researching methods and tools to help us find a path towards racial equity. The book study was a way of helping us understand that despite our best intentions, racial bias is an implicit part of our thinking and institutional habits. Unless and until we fully embrace that idea and commit to unravel it, we will never be able to help and guide our students to reach their full potential.
2 takeaways for me. The first is we do have a problem with racism in the Center School District. You know, I entered this process with the idea that I'm basically a good person with good intentions. And while I certainly acknowledge that racism is an issue in our society, I didn't think that was really my problem. I didn't feel like I was a racist person or did racist things. It was other people. And what I learned through this process is that even though I still believe I'm a good person, I still believe I'm well-intentioned, because of the society that I've grown up in, the society I live in, the many systems that exist in our world, things that I do and say do have a racist impact. The book makes very clear there's a distinction between intention and impact. And the vast majority of us in the Center School District have no intention to behave in racist ways. But because of all the baggage we bring and all the history we have, the things we do and say do have a racist impact on others. My second takeaway is the importance of improving racial equity. Again, when I started, I thought, improving racial equity is a good thing to do. It's the nice thing to do. And as I learned from our colleagues in discussion and reading the book, improving racial equity is essential in what we are trying to accomplish as a school district.
To me, the answer is simple. We want success. It's just that simple. If we want success for our community, for our teachers, for our students, then we have to see each other. There is a certain weight of unconscious assumption on these kids' shoulders. That weight presents challenges for our kids. Challenges to running a race, just like in the Olympics. The more weight you have, the harder it is to run your race. And while our intentions for our kids might be great, we have to understand what is the impact of them running this race with the weight on their back. What additional challenges does that cause them to have? How does that slow them down? We need to understand that. And honestly, it makes me furious to think that my brilliant child is running her race with the weight of someone else's assumptions about her weighing her down. So we need to understand what that's all about. And I think that racial equity training, racial equity focus gets us closer to understanding the impact of those weights on our kids. And if we can do that, we can fix it. And if we can fix it, I think we can have success.